So how are things in LA? How are things going?
Well, it's been a little bit of a struggle lately. We've been real up and down, and I think it's a little bit due to our heavy schedule before and after Christmas, and the highs and lows of a young hockey team.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk about that, especially the goaltending situation there, because obviously that's what you're there for, and it's absolutely fascinating with the two young guys. But I wonder about you. Do you miss the game? Do you miss playing?
I don't miss playing at all. I mean,
Not even one bit, eh?
no, it's been since 2000, and I was fortunate to play as long as I did, and have many fond memories. But you come to realize that my days are past, and you live with that, and you move on to other things. And I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now.
Was it always goalie for you, ever since the beginning?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I played minor hockey, a little bit of defense when I first started out, but pretty much from like year 3 on, it was in goal.
How come? Do you know why?
I think early on, living up in Cold Lake, a friend of my dad's was a goalie, and I think I had that fascination of the goalie equipment, and I had my own set of pads before I even played any organized hockey, so I was kind of a goalie first and player second, and then third time around it was full-time goalie.
You moved around a lot during your career. Was it exciting to be traded? I always wondered that about a player because you move around a lot. You're forced to move at the drop of a dime, and basically start a whole new life. So was it always exciting or was it painful?
I think I was when I look back, I was very fortunate to play as many years as I did in one spot, and I had a little bit of success with not only with the Oilers but internationally, and when you have that success, it sometimes makes you that trade bait and sometimes a wanted commodity. So and then as your career winds down, it's that veteran presence that the teams look for, to maybe go along with a young goalie or something just to change things up. So that's kind of what goes with the territory in today's NHL. That you might have a long stay early on, but as your career winds down, you're usually moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fun. I mean, when you have a family, it's tough to move, and if you come off a bad season and you move, it's usually exciting to get a new start. And every once in a while, things can start to get stagnant in one city, and sometimes a change is good.
Was it a happy coincidence to go back to Edmonton, or did you want that to finish your career here?
That's what I wanted to do. I mean, I played out in the East for like three and a half years, and I wanted to be back in the West, closer to family, as I was winding things up, and Edmonton was my number one spot, and I was just fortunate to be able to do a deal there.
Now, of course, a lot of my listeners are gonna remember you and your fantastic years here. What are some of your finest memories? Obviously, the 2 Cup wins, but what else?
Well, I think the thing about the city of Edmonton is just the fan support was huge, and right from the first day that I arrived in Edmonton, we had a practice at West Edmonton Mall, and people, kind of already knew who I was, and I'd only been there for like 3 days, and it's just they take on their players with a lot of pride, and it's a very knowledgeable hockey city, so you can't really talk your way out of too many situations. It's they understand the game, and I think it makes you become more honest about your own play.
You say people knew who you were 3 days in, and obviously I think that it's an Edmonton thing, but it's also a Canadian thing.
Well, there's no doubt about that. It's the one of the few big sports in town, and when I got there, the 2 big teams were the Eskimos and the Oilers, and everybody knew. A guy would get traded, everybody knew who they were and what they've done, and so it's it was a fun city to play in. It was great that it was a smaller city. The downfall is there wasn't a lot of room to move around, but I think that was also a positive aspect of the team.
That makes me think of 2 things. One being the difference in Los Angeles with that, because I don't think it's probably that way there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of LA is kind of one of the best kept secrets in the league, because most of the guys live within about 5 miles of each other, and we practice in the same spot right by the airport, and we probably have the easiest commute to the practice facility and the airport of anybody in the league. And then with game days, the only time we go down is to Staples is to play games, and as long as you're in the carpool lane, you don't have much longer than a 25 to 30-minute ride. So it's the traffic you deal with anytime you know the guys want to leave the beach area where most of the guys live. That's where it becomes a mystery. It could be a 15-minute drive, could be a 3-hour drive.
Yeah. You mentioned the young team. It almost feels like you guys are going to have a bit of a dynasty on your hands in a few years if the cards are played correctly.
Well, I mean, it's everything's got to fall into place. You know, you have to make some smart moves to get some veteran presence to go along with the young talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you know, if everybody plays to their potential, yeah, there's an opportunity. If you can somehow fit it into the cap space, that there's an opportunity for this team to start competing every year. But we're still quite a few puzzle pieces away, and until we find those fits, you know, it's still going to be a battle. And as you look at our conference, it's not an easy conference to play in this year.
No, not at all. But you're the goaltending coach. You obviously have potentially two of the best young goalies in the league. You decided to have Bernier play, you know, and I wonder about the decision on that, to have him, you know, he probably play, 20 games, 30 games this season, rather than have him start in the AHL. How come?
Well, I think we came to the decision, you know, management did, that it was time to find out, you know, if he could compete on a daily basis at the NHL level. He went through the trials and tribulations of playing in the American Hockey League, learning that aspect, and you know, last year we gave him a goal of trying to be the best guy in the league, and he went out and proved that, and was the top goalie in the AHL, and we just felt it was important, you know, to give him an opportunity, and also to you know, we realized that Quick played way too much last year, and to give him a little bit of a push. So it's a high risk when you go with two young goalies, but it was a risk that we were willing to take because we are a young hockey club. So I think the decision from the organization was, if we're going to grow, let's grow together as a young group.
What are you guys going to do? Because I feel like the situation in Montreal with Halak and Price last year is going to be fairly similar for you, maybe this summer or next.
Well, it gives you a commodity. There's no doubt, and you know, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But right now we need both guys, and you know, we'll see what happens in a year or two when we you know, if things go right, when we have two guys that we know can play, then you have a commodity maybe to make a push for that piece of the puzzle that's going to make you competitive every night.
Is it hard being a goaltender with the ego thing? Because I read somewhere that Ed Belfour had to be the number one. Like, you know, he didn't want a secondary goalie to be decent. He wanted, you know, just hire a veteran, throw him behind me. What was it like for you? Did you need that too? Is that a goaltender thing, or is that just certain players?
Well, I think it's a if you don't have that mentality, you know, then you're in the wrong position, and I think that's been the biggest struggle for Bernier this year is, you know, wanting more playing time, and you know, he's always been a number one, and but you know, you have to pay your dues, and we've all gone through that. I mean, I did the same thing behind Grant. You have to prove that you can play in the league on a consistent basis, and then the organization has to make a decision, and you know, when you have that competitive spirit, you know, I wouldn't think anything you know, different of Bernier if he didn't want to play every night. If he didn't have that want to play every night, then maybe he's the wrong guy.
Let's get back to you, though. Let's get back to you and your career, because we were talking about trades before, and you had mentioned something that made me think of I guess it would have been just after you got there, Gretzky being traded. What was the sentiment like in the dressing room?
Well, I mean, it's
ironically to LA.
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, I was a young person, a little bit in awe of the whole team at that time when I got traded there in March, and then to make the Stanley Cup run and win the cup with that special group of players. You know, for that trade to happen during the summer, I think it not only shocked the world, but it shocked our dressing room, and but we were fortunate enough that from the experience of the veterans that we had in the room, the group realized, first of all, that we had to move on, and secondly, that we could move on.
What's next for you? What do you want to stay in LA? What do you want to do?
I think it's, for me, I enjoy what I'm doing right now. Probably a long-term goal once my girls are finished, both finished school, would probably be get into more of a full-time role. But right now, with my family still in Vancouver, the part-time role working with the goalies full-time is what I enjoy doing. And the goalie coach / assistant coach is probably a long-term goal, but that's a few years away.
Awesome. Before I let you go, 5 quick questions, one-word answers.
Okay.
Sawchuck or Plant?
Sawchuck.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Watt or Brodeur?
Brodeur.
Proudest moment in the NHL? Or in hockey, actually, if
In hockey, winning the Stanley Cup and a close second World Championships.
Cool. And one word, Bill Ranford.
Competitor.